a corporate enablement facility was also provided, wherein a corporate could register themselves and provide the benefit to the private sector employees as well.
So whether you are a salaried person or employed, you can start investing in NPS and you can save tax. So for investing in NPS, Lyle, there are two different types of accounts. So could you please highlight and what are the different types of account and which is a mandatory account which an investor need to open?
Absolutely. So in NPS offers two types of accounts. The first is your tier one account, and you have the tier two account. Now, the tier one account is your mandatory account. You have to open the tier one account to open your NPS account. In some cases, you can also refer to this as a retirement account. And all the tax benefits that are there in NPS are associated in this tier one account itself. Now, you can make a voluntary contribution to the tier one account. You can do only the employer component towards this tier one account. And if you're in the old tax regime, you can do a mix of both employer and voluntary as well. Now, in terms of withdrawal from the tier one account, since it is a retirement account, any withdrawals pre-retirement are limited and subject to certain conditions. At the time of opening this account, just rupees 500 is required to be deposited to open this NPS account. And once in a financial year, at least a contribution of sum of 1,000 has to be made to keep this account active, and you can contribute as many times to this tier one account. Tier two is a voluntary add-on account. It's like an investment account where there are no tax benefits. Only your voluntary contributions can be made to this tier two account. Now, 100% withdrawal is allowed anytime. There are no separate CRA or joining charges to open this tier 2 account. You can open it while opening your NPS account or at any point later as well. Additionally, 100% equity allocation can also be made to this tier 2 account. And one additional feature you can utilize is the transfer of funds from tier 2 to the tier 1 account as well. Again, in terms of the frequency of contributions, you can make as many times as you desire to this tier 2 account.
So we can term Lyle over here the tier 2 account as your investment account and tier 1 account as a tax benefit account where you invest to get the maximum tax benefit. And also currently there are many tax saving tool available in the market. So why should one invest in NPS when there are different tool available in market to invest?
Yes, so NPS is a tool that gives control to the subscriber in terms of flexibility, in terms of the selection of their asset class, in terms of selection of their pension fund manager. Even at the time of retirement, they have multiple options in terms of continuation, in terms of opting for the annuity service provider basis their comfort, as well as the annuity plan when they have taken a decision to exit NPS. So the flexibility that NPS offers, along with its low-cost architecture, where the fund management charges range from 0.03 to 0.09, and the added benefit of tax benefits that NPS offers, it makes a very viable option to invest or park some amount in NPS as with other investments as well.
That's right, Lyle. So there are many investment product available, but NPS stands out as of now as the best investment tool available for tax benefit because of its flexibility, its tax benefit, and the systematic approach to invest in a product. Because unlike there are other investment product available where you can withdraw anytime, while in NPS in tier 1 account there are certain limitation because the whole purpose of investing in NPS is you will get a good retirement corpus as you will get a steady pension while you purchase an annuity while taking an exit, right?
Yes, yes. So NPS offers you the annuity component as well, where the amount remains fixed once selected. And at the same time, when you compare it to other products as well, it does offer the choice of options, making it very lucrative investment option in terms of retirement planning.
So coming to the most interesting and the most attractive features of investing in NPS, and what everyone loves is to save tax. So when you invest in NPS, there are three different baskets available where you can save tax while investing in NPS. So first is basket one, wherein you get the tax benefit up to 1.5 lakhs, which is under ATC investment, where you can invest in NPS or the other product like ELSS, PPF, and 1.5 lakhs tax benefit can be availed. Second is your voluntary contribution, wherein you get an additional tax benefit up to 50,000. And there is a basket three. So for the one who invest in NPS through their employer, that is through their corporate, they can contribute up to 10% or 14% of the basic, and they can save the tax up to 7.5 lakh per annum. So Lyle, what are the tax benefit if you follow the old tax regime and new tax regime? How it get differentiated?
So NPS, as you rightly called out, is a triple tax benefit product, especially in the old tax regime. An individual subscriber can invest voluntary contribution under Section 80 CCD 1B, which is above and beyond the contribution that they have made to their ATC, that is a 1.5 lakh limit. Most people have exhausted this bucket either through ELSS, LIC, etc. So ATCCD 1B is the voluntary contribution that they can make additionally. 50,000 is the tax benefit that they can avail of in a financial year. However, there is no upper limit on how much an individual can contribute. Now, this is applicable only in the old tax regime. Additionally, if one individual tags their NPS account under the corporate umbrella, then they can invest up to 10% of their basic through the employer, where the employer acts as a facilitator. This comes under Section 80 CCD2, where they can take a benefit of maximum 10 up to 10% of their basic, with the capping of 7.5 lakhs annually. Now, this 7.5 lakhs annually includes the employer contribution towards PF, NPS, and superannuation. And some people may have opted for the new tax regime. Then an individual who has opted for it can invest up to 14% of their basic salary, which is basically deducted from the CTC and transferred by the employer to the NPS account of the subscriber. Now, this again is under Section 80 CCD2, where the upper capping remains the same, that is 7.5 lakhs annually.
So NPS is not just about the retirement. It help you to save the tax benefit tax today, and also when you get a retirement, you will get a good corpus. So it's help you to secure your future as well. So let's help our audience to understand how they can save tax during the particular financial year, whether you're following the old tax regime or new tax regime. Let's help them to understand in a better and a simpler way with an illustration which we have.
Yes, so this describes it quite beautifully in terms of the old tax regime and the new tax regime. Now, here we've assumed a basic of 7,50,000. And if you see just above the red box, there are two deductions. The first being the standard deduction, which is 50,000. And additionally, the Section ATC limit is already fulfilled. That is 1.5 lakh either through ELSS, LIC, Sukanya Samriddhi, etc. Now, in the red box, you will see additional two deductions. The first is through the employer. That comes under Section 80 CCD2, which is 10% of basic. In this case, 75,000. And additionally, under Section 80 CCD 1B, I am also investing 50,000 as a voluntary contribution to my NPS account. Now, this amount, that is 75,000 plus 50,000, will further reduce my total taxable income, thus enabling me my tax saving. And if someone has selected the new tax regime, then up to 14% of their basic is what they can invest in NPS through the corporate umbrella under Section 80 CCD2. Now, any individual contribution in the new tax regime is not applicable for tax benefits. Only and only the employer contribution, which is facilitated by the employer, is applicable for tax benefits in the new tax regime.
Okay, thank you, Lyle, for explaining it so beautifully. So, let's talk about the investment choice which has been given to the subscriber. So, NPS, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very flexible tool available right now in the market. So, it help you to invest in the different diversified asset class wherein you can get the return. And also there are NPS is a unique product as it offers four different asset class. E belongs to equity, C belongs to corporate debt, G is for government bonds, and A is alternate investment. So there are four different asset class where your investment get diversified. So could you please highlight on those points?
Yes, absolutely. So NPS is not just a tax saving tool, it is an investment tool which is utilized to plan for the retirement of the individual. And the greatest feature of NPS is its flexibility, not just in terms of choosing the options, but the ease in which you can utilize and choose these options either through the mobile app or through the login as well. Now, in terms of the asset classes, four options are there. You have the asset class E, which is equity, asset class C, which is corporate debt, asset class G, which is government bond, and asset class A, which is alternate investment funds or your REITs, that is your real estate investment trust. Additionally, four times in a financial year, I can change this asset class option as well. So if I've selected 75% in equity and 25% in corporate bonds, and I would like to be a little more conservative, I can go for 100% towards asset class G, that is government bonds as well. So the flexibility to change it four times in a financial year is a very interesting feature of NPS.
Right, Lyle. So, giving you the diversification to invest, it also gives you a flexibility to change your investment according to the market condition. And also, as it is mentioned, that you get the units while you invest in NPS. So, you do have an option called SIP and a voluntary lump sum payment. So, if any market is down to average out your portfolio of NPS, you can do an SIP or you can make a lump sum payment at that time.
Yes, absolutely. So you can do an SIP in NPS. You can also do lump sum investments in NPS. In fact, the setup of SIP is a very simple process. It can be done online as well. So it's a very easy tool to utilize for investments and averaging out your risk over a period of time.
So we have talked about the what are the different type of asset class. We do have different types of investment choice also, which has been given to the customers, like active choice, wherein we can call it and do it yourself, wherein according to your own risk appetite, you can choose your contribution among the different asset class. You can mention the percentage. For example, if you wish to contribute 60% to your equity, you can contribute that. So it is basically a customized option which has been given to the subscriber. And also in that, as it is right, Lyle has mentioned that you have an option to switch four times in a financial year if you wish to change the contribution. That is also a possibility, right, Lyle?
Yes, so you have one active choice, which is one of the customized investment options where I make the choices by myself. So I can choose between multiple asset classes and I can have a separate PFM as well for each of these asset classes. Additionally, under the asset class option, the maximum that I can invest in equity is 75%, whereas in alternate investment funds, the maximum allocation permitted is up to 5%. Whereas corporate debt and government bonds, 100% allocation is allowed. For example, if I have selected 75% equity in active choice and 25% government bonds allocation in active choice, then that ratio will continue to remain the same until and unless I manually change it.
Right. So as active choice is available, we also have given option to our subscriber for an auto choice wherein the ready-made basket are available. Just according to your risk appetite, you can choose any one of the basket like aggressive, moderate, and conservative.
Yes, so auto choice is a very good option where the equity exposure reduces gradually post a certain age of an individual. So 35 is the age where the tapering for the equity component starts reducing, corporate debt starts reducing, and government bonds starts increasing. So under the distribution of asset class in the auto choice option, you have three options again. You can be an aggressive investor, which is LC75. You can be a moderate, balanced investor, LC50, or you can also go for the conservative life cycle fund, which is LC25. Again, just taking an example, looking at the chart on the screen, if someone at age 30 has selected aggressive life cycle fund, that is LC75, then up to the age of 35 years, the equity exposure will be 75%. Corporate bonds will be 10 and government bonds will be 15. As soon as the individual turns 36 years of age, the equity component gradually starts reducing and the difference is transferred to corporate and government bonds. Finally, when the individual turns 55 years of age, the equity exposure will be just 15%. Corporate bonds will be reduced again to 10%, whereas government bonds has increased to 75. Now, likewise, in the moderate life cycle fund and conservative life cycle fund, the equity exposure is 50% and 25% irrespectively, up to 35 years of age.
And recently, Lyle, there was a new investment choice which has been given to the subscriber called Balance Life Cycle. Though it is similar to auto investment choice, can you please highlight on some point how it is different from auto choice and what are the impacts and return if you invest in balance, if you choose Balance Life Cycle fund?
So, balanced life cycle fund is the latest development in NPS, where the tapering for the equity component begins at a higher age, that is 45 years of age. And again, the equity exposure remains higher up to 45 years of age, where it is up to 50%. Post that, post 45 years of age is where the tapering begins for the equity component, where gradually, year on year, the equity portion reduces and government bonds increases. So looking at the chart again, the balanced life cycle fund, as you can see, the tapering for equity exposure reduces from 46 years of age, where 2% is reduced. Again, corporate bonds is 2% is reduced, and that gets transferred to the government securities. And at 55 years of age, you still have a higher allocation towards equity, which is 35%, 10% to corporate bonds, and 55% towards government securities. This is a very balanced approach to investing where you have the right mix of equity exposure as well as government debt.
So to summarize it, there are three different investment choice given to the subscriber. First is the active choice wherein the customization option is available. And the remaining two is like auto and balance. According to your risk appetite, you can choose the basket. And here you don't need to select any contribution. It will be managed by the basket investment you choose.
Yes.
And talking about the flexibility and advantage of NPS is the yet another advantage is to choose your own PFM, that is pension fund manager. There are different PFMs available, so you can choose. And also a great feature which is available over here is you can switch your PFM if it is not giving you the right return. You can switch this in a one this once in a financial year, like you rebalance your other investment tool. For example, if your mutual fund is underperforming, you will switch, right? So similarly over here in NPS you have an option to switch the PFM, right? Like,
Yes, yes. So the flexibility doesn't end with just choosing your own investment option or asset class mix. You have the additional flexibility to select your pension fund managers, and any one of these pension fund managers can be selected. You can also view the pension fund manager performances freely in the public domain or on the HDFC Securities website, NPS Trust website, where weekly the fund manager performances are updated. And additionally, one great feature is that you can change your pension fund manager once in a financial year. So apart from the four changes towards my asset class or investment options, once in a financial year, I can also change my pension fund manager.
so in NPS, the subscriber is not locked into a single investment choice or a single PFM for life. You do have a great flexibility and option to switch between that. So talking about the benefit while you invest in NPS, that is the tax benefit when you invest. What happens, Lyle, when they liquidate or take an exit and maturity on NPS? What amount is exempted from tax at that time?
Yes, so NPS also provides you with the option of tax-free withdrawals. One can opt for a partial withdrawal where 25% of the individual voluntary contribution they make, they can withdraw it. Upon a premature exit scenario, 20% of the lump sum corpus they can withdraw, which will be tax exempt. And upon maturity, that is after reaching the age of superannuation, if an individual withdraws, then 60% of their corpus is exempt from tax.
Okay. So how does partial withdrawal works? The process is online or offline? As you have mentioned earlier, there's a limitation on withdrawal. So how does partial withdrawal works over here?
So partial withdrawals, firstly, can be done only after completion of 3 continuous years of participation in NPS. A maximum of 25% of your own voluntary contribution is what you can withdraw, and you can do this a total of 3 times in the entire tenure of your NPS. They are subject to certain conditions: children's higher education, marriage of children, purchase or construction of a house, as well as skill development and establishment of your own venture as well. So these are some of the listed conditions under which a partial withdrawal option can be exercised.
So this option is available only for those who are doing the voluntary contribution. What option is available for those who are doing both voluntary or else they are doing a corporate contribution in NPS?
So, when they are doing both their contributions, especially the corporate contribution, then they can opt for a premature exit, which is allowed before turning the age of 60 years. However, the subscriber has to be part of NPS for at least 5 years, 5 continuous years. Here in this scenario, 20% of the total corpus value is paid as lump sum, or the subscriber can withdraw as lump sum, which will be tax free. And the remaining amount, balance 80% of the accumulated corpus, has to be utilized for the purchase of an annuity plan.
Okay.
Now an individual whose corpus value is 2.5 lakh rupees or below, then the entire corpus can be withdrawn by them.
So this why we have talked about the partial withdrawal and premature exit that can be done before the age of 60. So on maturity, that is at the age of 60, you if your corpus value is less than 5 lakh, you can withdraw the whole amount. If it is more than 5 lakh, in that case 60% can be withdrawn as a lump sum and 40% you will get as an annuity, that is monthly pension. Oh yeah, Lyle, there is a great feature available called SLW. Can you please explain on that part? How does SLW work?
Absolutely. So, firstly, on reaching maturity or age of 60 or superannuation, the option to exit arises where the subscriber can opt to withdraw 60% of their total corpus tax free, and 40% they can utilize for the purchase of an annuity plan. Or they also have the option to continue and be still part of NPS by extending their investment up to the age of 75 years. They can defer their lump sum or annuity purchase as well. And one additional feature that a subscriber can complete is the SLW option, which is systematic lump sum withdrawal. They can opt for at the time of their retirement or exit. And this is applicable only for the lump sum corpus portion of their NPS. In fact, this is a very good tool where they reduce the risk and hassle of reinvesting this amount into other instruments. And they can continue to manage their needs and requirements as well through periodic withdrawals. Now, looking at this chart, someone who retired on 30th of November 2023, total corpus value was 91 lakh 26,000, of which 60% they chose to withdraw as lump sum, 54 lakh 75,000, and then allocate this amount to SLW. The balance, 40%, that is 36 lakh 50,000, they've purchased their own annuity plan and they're getting their pensions separately. Now, what happens to this 54 lakh 75,000? A monthly payout of 30,421 is taken. Yearly, that amount comes to 3,65,000. The balance amount, 51,10,000, continues to appreciate as per the last selected scheme preference of the individual. Year on year, this amount increases all the while they are getting a yearly payout as well as getting their monthly pensions separately. And at the end of a 15-year tenure, the total lump sum withdrawal that the individual will make is 86 lakh 91,000.
Okay, so SLW indeed is a great feature available when they do have an option of lump sum withdrawal. It will help you to give a steady income monthly basis while you have an annuity plan. So, talking about the annuity, as you have mentioned, the subscriber need to select it while taking a premature exit and also while taking a maturity exit. So, what are the different plans available for buying an annuity?
Yes, so when an individual attains the age of superannuation, then they will also have to allocate some portion of their corpus towards the purchase of an annuity plan. Now, there are five types of annuity plan that are available in NPS, and they can be taken from any one of the authorized annuity service providers by PFRDA. One additional feature, firstly, is that when they take an annuity plan through NPS, GST is also not applicable. Now, taking the first example, that is annuity for life with ROP. So, ROP stands for return of purchase price. In this case, annuity is payable to the subscriber till they are alive. And upon death of the subscriber, the annuity, that is the pension amount, stops and 100% of the purchase value is returned to the nominee. Now, taking the second example, that is annuity for life without ROP. Here, the subscriber will get annuity, that is pension, till they are alive. And upon the demise of the individual, the payment of annuity, that is the payment of pension, stops and no further amount is payable to anyone. In the case of a joint life annuity with ROP, the subscriber gets annuity till they are alive. Upon demise, the spouse will get the pension till she is alive. And finally, on the demise of the annuitant, the 100% of the purchase value is returned to the nominee. Likewise, in a joint life annuity without ROP plan, subscriber gets annuity till they are alive. The spouse will get annuity upon the demise of the subscriber, and upon demise of the spouse, no further amount is payable to anyone in a without ROP scenario. And one additional plan is also there, which is the NPS family income, where the subscriber gets annuity till they are alive. Upon death of the subscriber, it is payable to the dependent spouse of the subscriber. Upon death of the dependent spouse, it will go to the dependent mother of the subscriber. And then on death of the mother, it goes to the dependent father of the subscriber. And finally, on death of the last annuitant, 100% of this purchase price value is returned to the legal heir or nominee as applicable.
So, like buying an annuity will give a steady pension amount to the subscriber during the second inning of their life. And also, while buying an annuity, they have to select a ASP, that is annuity service providers. And this ASP has been appointed by PFRDA. So, while choosing an annuity, you have to choose it wisely, as over a year you will not get an option to switch or change your ASP, right?
Yes, so you have to be very careful. Firstly, not only selection of the annuity service provider, but also the type of annuity plan, whether you want to go for a with ROP plan or a without ROP plan. Now, any annuity plan that you purchase has to be done at the time of your retirement or exit only, not when you are opening your account, not when you are in the contribution phase of your account. Now, any of the option can be selected from the 15 annuity service providers that are there, and you can view the annuity quotes on the CRA platform as well. A simple Google search on annuity quotes in NPS will give you an option to input your amount that is there in NPS, and you can view each of the annuity service provider quotes for all the plans. And you can always utilize the annuity calculator, that is your monthly pension calculator, or through the NPS Trust website, where you can view the returns that you will generate over a period of time, as well as a tentative pension that is applicable on the total corpus.
So in annuity, as you mentioned, there are different plans in which the subscriber need to select who will get the amount if there is any unfortunate scenario. What happens when death happens before maturity? That is while investing in NPS.
Yes. So in terms of the unfortunate scenario of death of a subscriber during their contribution or during their working tenure while they are investing in NPS, the nominee or the legal heir can withdraw 100% of the corpus value. And in the scenario of death occurring post selection of an annuity plan, then the nominee or legal heir would receive the proceeds as per the selected annuity plan, whether it is a with ROP plan or a without ROP plan.
Okay. So, in today's discussion, we have covered a lot from saving the different investment strategy, tax benefit for investing in NPS, withdrawal route. So, the most important takeaway over here is as early you start, you will get a big retirement corpus. So, it's never too late to start in investing in NPS, whether you start at your 20s, 30s, or even in 50s. It's a great way to plan for your financial freedom in retirement. So anyone who is not having an NPS account till now can click on one nps.hdfcsec.com and open an NPS account. It's a complete digital journey available, no paperwork required. It's a 10-minute seamless journey available, and so you can start investing in NPS. Since we are coming to an end for this financial year, there are only few days left so that you can open an NPS account and invest in NPS and get the tax benefit for this particular financial year. Lyle, would you like to add something over here?
Yes, so NPS is a great tool, especially in terms of the distribution of asset classes, where you have the option to go for a mixture of equity and debt, as well as the flexibility to change as per the market conditions. Additionally, it's a feature-laden product where at the tip of your fingers, you can make changes to your NPS account, and a very transparent product in terms of selection of your fund managers, etc. All the details are freely available on the platforms.
So I'll be mentioning all the dedicated customer support number and the help desk ID wherein you can write for any NPS query. And we will be opening the floor for the questions now. So we have question from Mr. Sanjay. How does NAV value determine formula?
This question is not very clear. So uh, I think you'll have to reach out to the pension fund manager. Not
Yeah.
understood the question on this front.
So Mr. Sanjay, you can write to our corporate relationship ID with an elaborate question so the team can check and accordingly help you to answer your query. We have a question from Miss Soma Ghosh. For self-employed people or unemployed people in new tax regime, there will be no tax benefit for NPS contribution. Is this understanding correct?
Yes, so the self voluntary contribution, there will be no benefit in the no tax benefit in the new tax regime.
Next, we have question from Mr. Bijinder. Can a partnership firm contribute as employer NPS? If yes, how?
So for that, you can reach out to the HDFC team on the documentation. So they will have to check the documentation. However, you can do that for the employees of the organization.
Next question we have from Mr. Abhijit P. Upon retirement, how is the monthly pension amount worked out? Is the pension continued to spouse?
Depending on the type of pension plan that you have selected, whether it is firstly with ROP, without ROP, and whether it is an annuity for life or a joint life annuity. If it's a joint life annuity, then the pension will be continued to the spouse as well.
What is the age of superannuation you mentioned?
So superannuation, the age is considered as 60. And in case it is tagged to the corporate, then as per the retirement age of that particular corporate, whether it is 58, 60, 65, etc.
Next question we have from Mr. Fateh. Is there any option that we can withdraw all contribution amount at any point after retirement from job, that is the age of 60?
In case your total corpus value is 5 lakh rupees or below, then you can opt for full withdrawal. If it is more than 5 lakh rupees, then 60/40 is the applicable rule, where 60% will be the lump sum withdrawal maximum amount, and 40% will be the amount allocation towards your pension plan.
Next question we have from Mr. Subramanya. You mentioned NPS withdrawal are non-taxable. Is it only after superannuation or early withdrawal?
So, in case of a partial withdrawal, in case of a premature exit, or in case of a superannuation, the lump sum portion that you withdraw from NPS is tax exempt.
Next question we have from Mr. Sanjay. How to cancel the shifting request of subscriber from government to ENPS?
So, for cancellation, you'll have to first reach out. We'll have to understand where exactly it is pending. At the same time, coming back to the ENPS architecture is not permitted.
We have one question from Mr. Rajan. Your last slide mentioned employer name, but what if the account has been opened voluntary for self-employed? Question. I'm not able to understand the question correctly. So, if you wish to open an individual account or a corporate NPS account, I have mentioned both the links. I hope I'm able to answer your query. If there is the question is different, I'll request you to please mention that in the chat box. So I mentioned the dedicated help desk number and the ID, so you can reach out to that ID and the customer support team for any queries. We'll be coming with the more upcoming session for NPS. Let's check if we have any few more question left. So we have question from Mr. Abhijit. If there is a career break, say no job for 2 years, is the NPS account continued?
Yes, so your NPS account will continue in case there is a career break or no job for 2 years, etc. However, a minimum annual contribution of rupees 1,000 needs to be made to keep this account active. In case an individual does not contribute 1,000 rupees in a financial year, then the account goes into a freeze mode. And to unfreeze it, you need to again make this 1,000 contribution. And once you have done that, 4 to 5 working days, your account will again be active.
Next question we have from Mr. Himanshu. Is NPS tax benefit available for businessmen?
Yes, the 50,000 benefit that is for individual voluntary contribution, you can avail of that benefit.
Next question we have from Ms. Aarti. Can a corporate NPS account be opened to contribute to selective employees? What is the process? So, if Ms. Aarti, if you wish to register your corporate for NPS, you can reach out to us. I'll be mentioning the ID. You can reach out, and if you wish to open the account, NPS account, I have mentioned the link in the chat box.
Just to add on to that, for your corporate account, you'll have to go through first registration of the corporate, post which you can tag your individual account if you already have one to the corporate umbrella, and if you don't, you can open it directly under the corporate umbrella.
Next question we have from Mr. Manoj Agrawal. We should open tier 1 or tier 2 account.
See, tier 1 account is mandatory. It's the default. You have to open the tier 1 account, without which you will not be permitted to open the tier 2 account. Tier 2 is completely optional. It's an add-on account which you can opt for at the time of opening your NPS account or at any point later as well. Right? So tier 1 is mandatory, and tier 2 is the optional add-on investment account.
So I guess like we have able to answer all the queries raised by a subscriber. I'd like to thank you to share your valuable insight on NPS and help our audience to understand how NPS is a great tool available right now in the market as a retirement tool. And also, I'd like to thank all the audience who have taken time and joined this session. We'll be coming with more upcoming session on NPS. Stay tuned.
Yes, so thank you, Akshita, for inviting the Protean CRA team to this interactive NPS session. And thank you to all the attendees as well, taking time out in this busy period of financial year ending to attend this exclusive session hosted by HDFC Securities.
Thank you, everyone.